Okay, so I won't make this video long for nothing. So this is the Huawei Freeclip 2, the Shokz opendot 1, and the Huawei Freeclip 1. So I'll start off with the Freeclip 1 and the 2. Freeclip 2 might not look like a major improvement, but it's actually something very notable. They improved largely on the bass. Now the bass is the biggest improvement here. It is now on the same level as the opendot 1, but still very different because the opendot 1 signature sound is it's a wide open sound stage, especially as you use Dolby sound, and the bass reverberates more than the Huawei because it's open. It's like very open, like a concert. Meanwhile, the Huawei is very intimate. And then the Freeclip 1, it lacks, it has a dramatic lack in the bass. I think this is only good for videos and stuff. It's not good for music. And also, another big improvement of the Freeclip 2 is the, I think it's the comfort and the volume control. Now the volume control is a swipe up and down. It used to be, I think I had to tap once and then hold. I mean, that worked too, but not as nicely as the swipe up and down. Although the swipe controls require getting used to. You have to actually swipe inwards, either up or down, and also you have to hold it up or down depending on whether you're swiping for volume up or down. Oh my god. And the controls of the opendot is it also has volume control, but this is different. You have to hold it, hold both sides up and down. It's not a button. It's touch sensitive. And then for track control, you tap or you double tap. You could also use press and hold for track control, but that would take away the volume control. So you're better off leaving it on the triple tap for track control. So in my opinion, the better controls is probably, I mean, I actually like both. Once you get used to the swiping of the Huawei, the controls are also very easy. But I just think that the opendot is more straightforward since you only touch and hold as opposed to swiping, which I think requires a bit more focus to swipe in the right orientation. Okay, so I think the most comfortable out of the three is the opendots, the Freeclip 2, followed by the opendot 1, and then the Freeclip 1. The opendot 1, it kind of wraps around your ear. It's more of a see, this is a clip, and this clips onto the ear, and this wraps around the ear. That's the biggest difference between the two. This is more secure. It feels a little bit loose, or it just feels like it would fall, and that's what gives it its comfort, because it would never fall. Although it is more likely to fall off your ears if you brush it against something than the opendot, which wraps around the ear, and it has a very flexible bridge. And the Huawei's control is actually more sensitive. The one I find easiest to use is the Huawei Freeclip, because it's so small. If you look at the case of the Freeclip, it's very, very small. It's like a biscuit. This is like a normal earbud case, and this also appears to be very small, but still significantly bigger than maybe the same size, but it has a weird shape. But then the buds are much bigger. If you look at the bean, I think they call this stability bean. It's way bigger than the Freeclip 1, the Freeclip 2. How they managed to achieve more comfort on the Freeclip 2, they just made the bridge, I don't know, they made it more flexible. This is a bit, I guess, stiffer. This is a little more flexible, and also reducing the size of the stability bean and the overall weight. How they added more bass, I have no idea. Anyway, comparing how much better the opendot 2 is, the Freeclip 2 is compared to the opendot 1. is like comparing a Bowers & Wilkins PR8 to a JBL Tour Pro 3. The Freeclip 2 has a very intimate sound, very deep, intimate sound, and that makes the bass a bit boomier than the opendot. But also sometimes it makes the bass appear smaller than the opendot. But generally, I like the sound of the Freeclip 2 more because that intimate sound stage allows for more detail to be present. It allows more details in the sound, and it sounds like an actual earbud. It doesn't just sound like an open earbud. Whereas the opendot sometimes has a very strange sound because it's like a very open sound. It has it echoes. If I say echo, it sounds like it actually echoes. It doesn't echo, but it has a questionable mid-range. The mid-range is a bit weird. The Huawei, on the other hand, the mid-range is not weird. It's actually really good and heavy. Like I said, it reminds me of a Bowers & Wilkins. It has nothing to do with the Bowers & Wilkins, but it reminds me of that anyway. And then this one reminds me of an AZ100 because the AZ100 also has like the really open sound, very open. Because I use Dolby sound here primarily, just like I primarily use the Dolby Atmos on the AZ100, because it's realistic. It doesn't even impact the sound too badly. So my preference between the two, I never thought I'd be saying this, but I like the Freeclip 2 more than the opendot. This is far more comfortable. I could wear it and forget that I'm wearing it. This, at some point, I start to feel it. If I ignore it, well then I'll stop feeling it, but after a few hours I might start to feel this one. And then this, it just clips a bit harder than both of these, and I don't really like this. I use it rarely, mostly just for watching videos under very specific, in very specific environment, under very specific conditions. Okay, so never thought I'd be saying this, but the Freeclip 2 is better than the opendot 1. It sounds nicer, it's more comfortable. I like the controls, but not necessarily more. I think the controls, it's a tie for the controls. For bass, I might give it to the opendot. The opendot does have a bouncier bass because of the open sound stage, but the Huawei has a good bass too. It's less than the opendot, but then it compensates for that with the sound quality, which is noticeably better than the opendot sound. As for the battery life, they both died on me. This died on me yesterday. The opendot rarely dies on me, but it's actually kind of dead right now because I never put it in a case when I went to sleep. I just left it outside. There we go. So that was a short review. We got the best, which is the Huawei Freeclip, and then the opendot 1, and then the Huawei. But between the two, you should really get the most affordable. For me, the most affordable was the Huawei. The opendot is a bit more expensive. Now there is the opendot 2, which I think you should really. I seriously consider getting the opendot 2 really soon, or the OpenFit Pro. It's just not available currently, to me. And then the build quality of the case, the opendot, the Huawei Freeclip is again better because this has it's a metal, it is a metal hinge. This is only a plastic hinge, so this is going to be more durable. But I just think whichever one you pick, it doesn't really matter what you pick, whether you pick the opendot or the Huawei, it really doesn't matter. Both of them are great, but I do prefer the Freeclip because it's more comfortable, more detailed, and that's it.